Welcome to Politicare, a podcast co-hosted by Levi Strasser and Kier Tadero. This is our first podcast ever released. We will be talking about the Supreme Court election, the upcoming debates, and the general presidential election, as well as Donald Trump's tax returns. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, and we're live, dude.
We're live? How this was a podcast?
We're not live. I was just recording. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Let's
Actually,
welcome to Politicare, dude. Fuck, that was really awkward. Oh, dude. Okay. We have a couple of things to talk about today. We will be having somebody join us later on to talk about the election and constitutional law. And
Are you sure? Are you sure we will?
no. But maybe. I don't know. We have like 2 hours for him to respond, so we'll see. If we're lucky, if we're not. Alright, but let's first talk about what we're going to be doing on Tuesday, which is covering the presidential debate. It will be 3 a.m. for me, and it's going to suck fucking ass, but it's going to be really fun. So, I know I'm using fucking BBC, biased news, right? No. But,
Not biased.
it's a joke. Okay, yeah, so we are... Here, there we go. These are the 6 segments that are going to be covered, and we are going to be covering these 6. Okay, so let's start with Trump and Biden's records. So we have...
Actually, also, what I'd like to also touch on is the moderators of these debates, because I got a list of them, and I kind of did a little bit of research myself on who they are and what they might entail for the debate, what the debate might look like. So we can touch on that after we touch on what they're going to be covering.
All right. So we obviously have a record for Biden under the Obama administration, and I know Trump is definitely going to dig the fuck in on that. For sure.
Here's the thing. What you have to take into account is Trump did not win the Clinton debates, but he profited off of the Clinton debates because he commanded those debates, even if he fucked up so many times, which he did. He commanded them. He set the mood. If Hillary Clinton set the mood, it would be a very focused sort of
It is
referendum.
surprisingly a lot about emotions in these debates, which just goes to show how much American politics have descended into like entertainment, you know?
Debates are like that anywhere, dude.
No, they're not. No, the fuck they're not, dude.
Well,
I can just give you Germany, dude. Look at any like German parliament debate. It's so organized.
suck my balls, man. No, dude. If you watch the Hillary Clinton debates with Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton is coherent. She's coherent. That wasn't. She's coherent, and she makes sense, and she makes Trump look like an asshole.
All right.
But Trump commands the mood of them. He makes it sort of a circus, so to speak, rather than an actual...
He's a fucking entertainer, dude. Yeah, like, that's...
Yeah, he's an entertainer. And if he's entertaining, he's gaining ground.
Because the issue is the political, like, the American political landscape isn't 100% based on fact as much as we'd like it to be. So if Trump knows that the people he's trying to gain... Trump isn't going to gain any of his fucking supporters from spewing out facts or, like, passing a really, like amazing, like... policy or anything like that. He's gonna gain them from entertaining them, and that's all he does. I can't count how many Trump supporters I've met that usually don't even have a policy they support and just say something. I just like him. He's funny. Like he knows exactly who he's pandering to, and I think he's gonna keep doing that this time. It's gonna be so much more radical in this debate. The whole fascism stuff is gonna be through the fucking roof, dude.
The only debate we know the questions on. Well, not the questions, but the subject matter.
One, I think.
Is the first one. It's the Chris Wallace debate. And Chris Wallace, let's touch on him really quickly.
Yeah, sure.
He's a Fox News anchor.
Oh,
that doesn't mean he's necessarily biased.
Yes, it does. What do you mean?
No. He hosted the He
looks
one of
moderate.
the 2016 debates.
Well, dude, he looks moderate. I'm just gonna say that Fox News is not the most unbiased source ever.
No, it's not. But he doesn't host. First of all, he doesn't host an opinion show. Second of all, do you remember that interview that Trump did that was really embarrassing?
Oh yeah, all right, that was Chris Wallace. Yes. Okay, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I actually just saw the screenshot.
And also, He hosted a debate before. He hosted a 2016 debate where he actually live fact checked Trump. So while I'm not saying that he would be unbiased, I think that he wouldn't take bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
no,
it seems like he wouldn't.
Yeah, I think honestly, as much as I'd like there to be any impartial moderators, just because American politics are entertainment, the moderators can't. I mean, we almost had fucking Joe Rogan, dude. So I'm glad.
We didn't almost have Joe Rogan.
We could have had Joe Rogan.
No chance.
The fucking president endorsed him. We probably couldn't have had, but the fact that our president actually endorsed Joe Rogan as a moderator is beyond fucking funny. But yeah, I'll take Chris Wallace, dude. I think that's just, he might be right-leaning, but yeah, I'm cool with that. So, so we know that Trump's gonna...
I take issue with the questions that the subject matter that he touched on, like, because one of the things he said he was gonna ask is, race protests and violence in cities.
Right, yeah, I see that.
What the fuck?
I'm genuinely...
Why don't you separate the two? Because race protests and violence in cities are generally two.
He means the entire things between like protests and rioting and the whole thing.
Well, he should touch on the reckoning of racial inequalities in the country as its own subject and hammer both of them out. Neither of them have a great record on that.
Right.
Separately, he should hammer them on violence in cities because of the protests.
I mean, I know Trump's gonna get hammered for his fucking Portland militia shit, right?
I doubt it. Dude, I fucking doubt it.
I mean, you don't think Biden's gonna touch on that? Okay, well, I know for sure that like the whole records thing is gonna fuse into the economy because both have economic records, and I know that Trump is going to... because I doubt he has any like knowledge of economics. I believe I know more about economics than that motherfucker. And I genuinely don't know nearly enough, but I believe he's gonna like attribute the recession to Biden, something like that, and I don't like he's just gonna be like, your unemployment rate was higher than mine, which is like completely out of context.
What's gonna happen is what I wouldn't be surprised what will happen is on the Trump and Biden's records concept. Right. Trump would say that he's created the most jobs in the history of the presidency. Biden would say, well, my administration, I was the VP in the administration that basically gave you the runway for that. He'll say, we've gotten so many more jobs in the past couple weeks. Biden will say, those were just jobs coming back from all the jobs we lost, and we still haven't.
Those are also just manufacturing jobs, so it doesn't really matter. Like those are jobs that are going to be replaced.
We haven't made it to net zero, and maybe like 1/3 of the jobs are permanently gone. So
yeah, we've lost. Trump is the president. I'm pretty sure I saw this today. Could be wrong. Could be just some like liberal stuff. But Trump, I'm pretty sure he's the president with the least amount of jobs gained, with the least amount of jobs gained, just because of Corona.
Well, if you look at it, I guess if you look at it right now, yeah.
He's like negative $3 million right now. Like we've lost 3 million jobs like from like before he entered.
I'm surprised there's nothing here about the environment.
Yeah, I'm incredibly. I mean, I guess it's gonna be brought up. I'm sure that they have more in the next debate. Yeah. I hope that climate change is gonna be brought up because Biden is gonna hammer the fuck out of Trump for that, dude. I know that him denying science.
You have to consider that like Donald Trump will appeal to the uneducated whites and possibly just everyone who's uneducated, who's just working class, who works like at a steel mill, right, by saying this climate change thing is going to lose you your job and not this climate change thing is going to lose us all of our lives. If he just focuses on the
but he's not going to acknowledge it though. He's not going to acknowledge it. He doesn't want to. He doesn't believe in it, dude. He says, I don't think science knows.
I know, but what he's going to do is when Biden says that he's going to sort of revamp the industries that emit CO2, Trump is going to hammer him on that and say, right, you're going to lose us jobs. You're going to fuck the economy that I built.
Which he didn't. So that's going to be definitely a huge thing to see, hopefully in the next debates, which we'll also be covering. All right, let's move on to the Supreme Court, and this does lead us into Amy Coney Barrett. We can kind of enter it too. So Amy Coney Barrett is Trump's official nomination for the U.S. Supreme Court to fill the seat of former U.S. Supreme Court Justice RBG. And there's a lot of controversy surrounding this, especially because a lot of Republican what the fuck Mitch McConnell, he's a senator, right? No, he's not. Mitch McConnell, senator, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Senator. Yeah.
I'm like I'm like brain shitting right now. Yeah. People like Mitch McConnell and people. Oh my God. I'm blanking. I'm like I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Lindsey Graham. Fuck me, dude. I'm actually having like a shit right now. People like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, both during the Obama presidency, endorsed the idea that a new Supreme Court justice should only be appointed after the new president gets elected, because it's the end of Obama's term.
So did Donald Trump on Fox News.
There's
literally a recording.
So did Donald Trump.
There's a phone call. Yeah. No, Biden will get him on that, and then he'll be like, "Well, look at what you guys did with Kavanaugh." And it won't go anywhere. I think that one is going to be the one that sort of amounts to the least. It's just going to be a weird argument where nobody.
It's just going to be whoever forms the most coherent sentence is going to get something done. That's pretty much it. I mean, let's talk about Amy Coney Barrett a little bit. I do have a Wikipedia page here for reference. Right. So in 2017, during a confirmation hearing for her current judgeship, there was that whole thing with Dianne Feinstein. I actually pull this up. Dogma lives loudly within you. So, Dianne Feinstein told Amy Coney Barrett that she wasn't so sure about her being allowed as a judge because she's very religious. And a lot of people were outraged because in the Constitution it says you're not allowed to pronounce a religious hearing upon somebody, some bullshit like that. And people are getting really mad at Dianne Feinstein. But here's a clip.
Why is it that so many of us on this side have this very uncomfortable feeling that, dogma and law are two different things? And I think whatever a religion is, it has its own dogma. The law is totally different. And I think in your case, Professor, when you read your speeches, the conclusion one draws is that the dogma lives loudly within you. And that's of concern when you come to big issues that large numbers of people have fought for.
All right, yeah. So, So Dianne Feinstein says the dogma lives loud inside you, the whole shebang. Basically, very fucking religious. The Handmaid's Tale was based on the cult that she's a part of. She has seven fucking kids.
I don't think that was actually.
I researched it, dude. You're right.
It's. Let's leave it at this. That's not necessarily proven, but what we do know is that there are a lot of parallels that can be drawn between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, whichever of the two. Like, she's fucking insane, dude. She's a fucking trad wife. That's quite literally what she is. Amy Coney Barrett is trad wife to the max, dude. It's actually fucking insane. Although what I did see is she she'd only said that abortion was wrong in 2013, but that might be wrong.
Well, what she said in general, it's been consistent, which is she would only I don't know if this might change because it's not the same country it was fucking 5 years ago. She said she would only overturn it if it was like the general consensus in America.
Yeah.
So
right. I mean, that's just not provable though.
From what I know, generally people are pro-choice. Like 60% of people. 70%.
Yeah, it's like 70. Yeah. No, but I'm saying I know for a fact she's not gonna actually just overturn it when she knows that the general American consensus is this or this. She's gonna say some shit about Americans want this and this even when they don't. Like I have no reason to believe that she has any form of integrity when it comes to that. But I don't know that yet. Roe v. Wade. Wait, actually, this is important. Supported the black and here. Just I don't want to take too much time. A lack of chemistry when Trump interviewed Barrett, apparently, according to some White House aides. We respected Indiana law professor Steve Sanders that their natural temperaments seem at odds. She has demonstrated a lot of boldness. She hasn't carved out a special niche. I think she's being cautious because the spotlight has been on her from the beginning. And I get the impression that she's the kind of person that you would just pour a glass of whiskey with at the end of the day and have a free-ranging discussion. She seems proper and conservative in her personal presentation. All right, that's great. Schreider, I don't know what else to say. Like, pretty bad, extremely religious. And this is gonna be terrible if he appoints her.
Fuck. So, coronavirus pandemic. I think that Trump will talk about how he's done super well. How the estimates were much higher than they actually are. Biden will maybe point to certain fuck ups that he did. Then Donald Trump will say, "Well, you said that I shouldn't that shutting it down was racist." And then I don't know, maybe there'll be some fucking back.
I think a lot of it's gonna be just ad hominem attacks, but I think obviously there's so many valid criticisms, especially because of the Woodward tapes that Biden has towards Trump, and I think those are gonna be brought up vehemently. All right, nothing crazy there on that front. One of the craziest ones.
Violence in cities. That's such a fucking terrible name.
Race protests and violence. Like I said, this is gonna be probably the most ad hom filled part of the debate, because it's just gonna be what each of the two has done and said publicly. Maybe some talk about Trump's criminal justice reform, although I don't think so. It's just mostly going to be ad homs. It's mostly going to be Biden telling Trump that he...
I think that I haven't actually heard much from either of them as far as the plan goes. What will happen is Trump actually came out with this thing for black businesses that I think that he'll harp on, although it's pretty much all vaporware. I read it. It wasn't
It's
very
Asted. I saw it, yeah.
meaningful. But he'll talk about that. He'll talk about how Biden has said things like the racial jungle line.
Right.
He'll talk about the tough on crime bill. But he has to tread lightly, because if they're talking about the tough on crime, I actually don't know if he could talk about the tough on crime bill, because Trump's concept is being tough on crime. That's like his niche. And if he's gonna shit on Biden for being tough on crime,
he's not going to. What he's gonna do is he's gonna do the exact opposite. He's gonna continue promoting this fascist idea of a police state, and he's gonna continue talking about how he wants law and order in our country and how these thugs need to be stopped. That's his narrative. I expect nothing.
I wonder if Biden will reference what he said on the Woodward tapes about how he said that Woodward had quote unquote drank the Kool-Aid as far as white supremacy goes. Because that would be really powerful if
Wait,
Biden
what? Wait, Trump said what?
Woodward said, "Do you feel personally responsible in sort of defeating white supremacy in the country," or some shit like that? And do you think white supremacy is still a really big issue? And then Trump literally responded by laughing and saying, "Shit, you really drank the Kool-Aid, didn't you?"
Election integrity. This is really important, and we will have Sebastian talk about this later. But when it comes to just the debates, I think this is going to be crazy, because Trump is going to bring up a ton of basically bullshit about mail-in ballots. And I don't know what Biden's going to respond to that, because it's so hard to argue baseless claims.
I think that Biden is maybe in a good spot right this moment, because of the shit Trump said about throwing the ballots away. If he's smart, he'll reference how Trump is probably setting himself up to steal the election with the judges, the appellate judges in all the swing states.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know if he will, but fucking who knows? Maybe he will. There's probably shit we're not even touching on right now, but yeah. And then as far as the economy goes, I actually think this could go either way, because Trump fucked the economy up by not taking care of the coronavirus very well. And according to The Economist, which is a super trusted magazine slash economic source in America, they said that Biden's economic recovery plan would bring 7 million more jobs back than Trump's. And I think that referencing that would be a really smart idea.
Yeah, I for sure.
He can a way you can rope the climate change in is by saying, I want to create jobs that didn't exist before, rather than bringing back jobs, many of which are already permanently gone. I want to create new jobs making clean energy, so that we can move forward, because this is a unique time for us to move forward. That would be very smart of him, and I'm sure he will. I think that.
Yeah, I think for sure it's going to be a back and forth between Biden referencing that, let's talk about what's going on right now with what you did with coronavirus, and Trump saying, no, let's talk about what was happening before and the low unemployment rate. And he's going to do what I already mentioned. He's going to attribute it to himself, although he's really done next to nothing to actually contribute to this low unemployment rate. that's going to be incredibly one-sided because I know it's just going to be Biden talking about coronavirus and Trump talking about anything before that. This looks like it could become really exciting, but it could also really become monotonous. A lot of these topics, I think, both have like clear defined views on, and both are they might just be talking away from each other. You know what I mean?
You want what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Biden has a 7.5% national lead. Okay, that's
Right.
unprecedented. The last time somebody had that kind of lead was when Bill Clinton won by like 20% or some huge amount back in
Right.
in '96. He wants to, and it's been the same. It hasn't fluctuated nearly at all. He wants to keep that. So the best situation for Biden is if he keeps a somber, calm, focused tone, and commands it by doing that, and keeps his cool. Doesn't fall victim to Trump doing the shit that he did that sort of flustered Hillary Clinton last time. It didn't really fluster her, but sort of, she kind of looked. It made an ass out of her. I mean, it made an ass out of him too, but.
But like there's kind of two ways you look at the debate. You know, it's when it comes to actual facts and just proving the other person wrong, and when it comes to the entertainment aspect, because it's literally presented like entertainment. So like you could definitely say when it comes to the Hillary Trump debates, Hillary might have won when it comes to the facts, but Trump won with entertainment. And when it comes to like I said earlier, when it comes to the people he's pandering to, entertainment is far more important than facts.
Oh, also, there will be no crowd this time. There will be no audience that will be able to.
That is gonna be great for Biden though. That is gonna be amazing for Biden because Trump feeds off of that shit. You know what I mean?
So let's. I want to go back to the moderators, and then we can move on to tax returns.
Sure.
So for the VP debate, which would be Mike Pence and Kamala Harris, Susan Page from USA Today, who's sort of I actually really can't get a read on her.
Wait, when is the VP debate happening?
I think October 8th, maybe. I have no fucking idea.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
She's gonna be hosting that one. I wouldn't be surprised. I saw a clip of her on Twitter a while back giving Trump shit about like shitting on the news media. I don't know. I actually really this is the one person I cannot get a read on. So the next person would be Steve Scully of C-SPAN. He's the least biased. I think this might not be a good debate for Biden. This would be the second debate because I don't know if you've watched C-SPAN where people call in and they just give him shit.
Yeah.
I saw something about this on Last Week Tonight. They just call in and they're like, "What the fuck are the Democrats doing? They're fucking trying to blow up the country." And he's like, "Okay."
Right.
All right. Next caller. Like, so I wouldn't be surprised if he allowed shit to fly, like ad homs that
For
were
sure.
even like fucked up.
He's going to.
And Biden probably won't do ad homs. He might. Who fucking knows?
His ad homs are going to be definitely far different. It's not going to be very direct. It's going to be more of like a subtle kind of thing. Okay.
Well, I don't know if you saw the town hall, the Biden town hall on CNN. But there was a moment where Biden got really mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like he got mad, and it was fucking. It was really powerful.
Shit like that happens. I mean, Trump is gonna be like embarrassed, dude. Trump is going to get.
Well, he'll be a little. He won't really have much to like say. He'll be a little. Yeah, probably. I don't know though. The last one is Kristen Welker. I don't know. I didn't know who she was until yesterday, but she actually has worked. She might be biased. I would be surprised if she was not maybe a little biased, because she's young. She's a person of color, which maybe that might have some sort of effect. But most importantly to me is that she was a contributor to MSNBC, and MSNBC is objectively a biased news source.
For sure.
So those are the four moderators. All right, next thing.
All right, dude, fucking yes. I've been waiting to cover this shit. I was so excited when I found out about this yesterday because I knew I had to bring it up on the podcast. We're going to talk about...
We have to make sure...
Come on, dude. I was in the middle of my intro. Trump's taxes, dude. Fucking Donald Trump's tax returns and the massive case of tax fraud that he committed, and especially what it means to actually try and indict him for it.
No, here's the thing. This is what I was going to tell you. I don't think what he did is against the law. I think he evaded taxes by legal loopholes.
I'm not sure if I agree with that.
This is why I wanted you to have. This is why I wanted you to have articles so you could.
I do have articles. I already read through everything, dude. That's why I didn't think it was fucking legal. I read through a bunch of fucking articles on this shit, and none of them said it was legal. This is what I did the most research on. I did research on this last night too. This is not like a legal loophole doesn't let you pay $750 in taxes. He paid Ivanka as like an advisor, but like that doesn't give you okay. Paid no income taxes at all.
Funny shit he did.
Wait a minute, financial distress. I mean, especially like what's really important in connection to this is that he said he pays a lot of income tax. He says he pays this and this much. Yeah. So, decade-long audit battle with the internal revenue by the IRS over the legitimacy of this is what it is. It's over the legitimacy of a $72.9 million tax refund that he claims received and apparently declared huge losses. This is where he's committing tax fraud. This is false.
Levi. Remember, one thing you have to remember is this is being reported. This story came out because of the New York Times.
Right, yeah, I'm on the New York Times.
He can just refer to what he always fucking refers to.
Fake news! I mean, he already did. He already tweeted about it.
Fake news.
Yeah, he already tweeted fake news. He already did it. His reports through the IRS portray a businessman who takes in hundreds of $millions a year, yet racks up chronic losses that he aggressively employs to avoid paying taxes. Now, with his financial challenges mounting, the records show that he depends more and more on making money from businesses that put him in potential and often direct conflict of interest with his job as president. Tax return data extending over more than 2 decades from Mr. Trump and the hundreds of companies that make up his business organization, including detailed information from his first 2 years in office. It does not include his personal returns from 2018 or 2019. This article offers okay, this is really long. So, most, if not all, of the facts appear to be inaccurate, is what a lawyer for the Trump organization said. He requested the documents on which they were based. The Times declined to provide the records in order to protect its sources. Mr. Garden took direct issue only with the amount of taxes Mr. Trump had paid. President Trump has paid tens of millions of dollars in personal taxes to the federal government, including paying millions in personal taxes since announcing his candidacy in 2015. That's what his lawyer said. So this really is a conflict of he said, she said, you know?
Well, he has to release his fucking tax. Like, I think
the only way to get out of this, dude.
A very good point that can be made over and over again is, if it's false, release your fucking tax returns. If it's true, then it's true. If it's false, release your tax returns.
And Biden is so going to touch on that, dude. Biden is so going to touch on that.
Absolutely.
He has to.
Well, I mean, Hillary Clinton did too.
Right, I know, but especially with this being out, I know that Biden is going to talk about Trump's tax returns. Trump is going to call it fake news, and Biden is going to say, okay, then release your tax returns, pussy. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Biden saying, okay, pussy, release your fucking tax returns then. So yeah, so this is pretty incredible, especially because he's been pandering to the American public as this, like, philanthropist, I guess. Pretty fucking insane. But especially, what this means, especially, what the most interesting thing about this is that Trump is quite literally above the law. So, this can definitely be proven to be illegal. He can get sued for this, he can get indicted for this, the whole shebang. But the only way to indict an acting president is if they are removed from office. He's already been impeached once, but to actually indict him on this significant case of tax fraud, you would have to impeach him again and then vote him out of office with help of the Supreme Court, which, as we know Amy Coney Barrett's going to get approved. So once Amy Coney Barrett gets approved, he's above the law, dude. He could kill somebody and he could still be president for 4 more years. Donald Trump could dead ass. Donald Trump could ball torture somebody and then slit their throat, and you would still have to impeach him before indicting him. And I think that's what's fucking insane. And you need the Supreme Court majority for that. And he has the Supreme Court majority on his side, or at least especially once Amy Coney Barrett enters. So he's not going to get indicted on this. He is obviously going to get indicted if he loses the election. But we're going to talk about with Sebastian once he gets here. I believe he should be coming in a couple of minutes, like 10 minutes. But what we're definitely going to talk about with Sebastian is the GOP and how they are preparing to actually, like, just dead ass, I sound like a liberal, but how they are planning to wholly steal the election. All right, this is really, really important because no matter what Biden's lead is, no matter what Biden's majority is, no matter what swing states Biden gets, the GOP lawyers are already preparing to contest these swing state examples. This is going to be insane. So this is a 538 article. I already sent that to you here on ways that Trump could challenge or undermine the election process. 538 obviously being really reputable. So, literally, I already read through most of this. So best thing he's gonna do, which I think he's already kind of done, is oppose mail-in ballots, oppose things that are gonna make it easier to vote during COVID-19, which is quite literally just undermining voters. Like that's literally what it is. It can invalidate laws. Like it just gets more extreme here, right? Advancing new practices that make it harder to vote. Anti-democratic rhetoric, fundamental changes to the electoral process. This is the biggest one, right? Fundamental changes to the electoral process. The U.S. Postal Service, like slowing down the mail, and in general, actually trying to contest mail-in ballots, and with the Supreme Court majority, getting the specific delegates to vote for him. Kira, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You just sort of dominated the fucking
Sorry.
What I wanted to sort of touch on, I think we should save the conversation about the appellate courts in swing states for when
Sebastian.
here. Sebastian. I want to talk about the you know what Project Veritas is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what they like the thing they came out with yesterday about ballot harvesting?
Mm-hmm. I saw all of this on Trump's Twitter. So I'm trying to be in contact with Sebastian, but I'm listening.
Okay, so there was a short thing that they came out with. Not a lot of people actually saw it. Well, a lot of people saw it, but not as many as I think they wish saw it, because it came out right as the tax shit came out, and kind of got put at the bottom of the trending page.
It did, yeah.
More people were talking about the tax shit or talking about sports. So I watched it. It's just a video of a dude with a bunch of mail-in ballots in his fucking car. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's not good. And it was in Ilhan Omar's district as well.
Oh,
this
right.
Is literally, so this is lighter fluid for the right that wants to find a reason to shit on her. But I saw a thread of this guy who studies law. I actually retweeted it, so I have it saved here. Where
That's kind of cool.
by law, what that guy was doing was completely legal.
And what was he doing? You just said he had mail-in ballots in his car.
All that there is in the video is a dude with mail-in ballots, and then an anonymous person saying like we were paying people to vote, and money gets you votes, not policy. Money gets you votes. That would be illegal, but there's no proof of that. It's just an anonymous person saying that. Versus the actual guy that has a name is literally just doing something which is legal, which is taking mail-in ballots and returning them for people. That's under Minnesota law, that's legal. So I wouldn't completely blow this off as not a conflict of interest, but it's not nearly it's not a serious issue at all.
We the people admire tax avoidance. All right. Yeah, I'm going into the thread that you were talking about. So there's a law in Minnesota, the limited number of people you could help. So he, okay, well, you didn't really explain the video. He just had ballots in his car and he was bringing them to the polling station, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. I don't see anything illegal. The Republican Party then filed an emergency order to stay a decision and reinforce the ballot limit. That was denied in August. The appeal was also denied. Right, all this shit is another distraction to keep Trump supporters uninformed Trump's tax situation and his poor performance. Who believes Project Veritas? Okay, well, yeah, all this dumb fucking replies, I don't care. But yeah, this is really important because this happens so often, dude. This is like day by day for the right, because it's always something that's like not a big deal that gets blown out of proportion. And I guess the left to some degree does it too, but like especially because I don't believe that anybody on Trump's version of the right, I don't mean by that like traditional Republicans, like moderates, or actually as a matter of fact, even fucking neo-Nazis. Like I mean anybody on Trump's right, they don't fact check at fucking all, dude. Like I have been cited Facebook posts, Instagram posts, TikTok videos so many times debating Trump supporters, and it's insane. So yeah, obviously posting something like that is fucking great, dude, because it doesn't matter. It could be perfectly legal. It could be the most like legal thing. A lawyer could be doing it and they would still be yelling out about it because they don't check their facts ever. They never make sure to check their facts. And it's amazing. Seb!
Hello, guys.
Can you hear me?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great, man.
Okay, alright. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great today, yeah. We were
Okay,
just
alright,
talking about
okay.
the election and specifically how exactly this is going to go down, how Trump can steal the election. This is what we're just covering.
Yeah, so pretty much he can win the election without actually winning the election, and that's a very, very scary thought to think about, but it's definitely possible. So if we go down to how the electoral map is breaking down right now, even if we do best case scenario for Joe Biden, saying
Right.
he wins in Florida. Again, we know that most of the country is going to be voting by mail-in ballot. Now, that's something that's going to make it really easy for Republicans to weaponize the electoral system the United States has. So one thing that they could do is what's one area that is very necessary for Joe Biden to win is the Rust Belt. Now, the bad thing is the Rust Belt. All of the states that are swing states in the Rust Belt have a majority Republican Congress. So they're going to be able to question immediately. So they're already preparing their lawyers to sue to question the results of the election there. And then, of course, though the attorney generals are Democratic, they'll probably end up sending two different electorates to Washington, meaning that the Congress will be able to vote to just eliminate those electoral votes, meaning that everybody in Wisconsin and Michigan's votes will be completely ignored in the election. Send it to the House of Representatives so that they can decide the president of the United States. Of course, in the House of Representatives, there's a majority Republican. It's held by the Democrats, but the majority of states are Republican, 26 to 23.
That's actually insane.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
no.
They can, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, go back. They can eliminate states from the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Vote.
So what it is if they say that there is so much chaos going on in these electorates, right? So let's say if the legislators send one group of electors forward saying this is what our electors are, they go to Donald Trump, and then the attorney general and governors say no, we're going to give it to Joe Biden. Congress can say, well, we're going to eliminate these. This is too chaotic. We don't know who won it. We're just going to eliminate this electorate, and they can vote to do that, and they have the votes in the Senate to make it happen. So they can really just say, no, go ahead.
Well, I thought so. I'm actually on an interactive electoral vote map right now. I'm on 270 to win, if you know what that is.
Oh yeah, I'm on way amps. Why amps?
Well, if you get rid of this, so in the states where Joe Biden, let's say Joe Biden wins handily on the Rust Belt, how many states can they safely remove from the count without drawing like a lot of criticism that would like pressure them into like not taking more?
It depends on, so really so what we're looking at right now, and what I'm kind of looking at is I'm looking at 316 to 322, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like the same rough number, and that's giving Florida to Joe Biden.
I have 335 to 203.
You have 335 to 203. Okay, I have 222 to. So if we just go ahead and we take Wisconsin off by saying that the Republicans just are able to eliminate their electoral votes, which is a process in which they can't.
Yeah, put it as a toss-up.
Just by taking, if we take, for instance, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, those three states right there, if they say they're contested, we can't say who wins. We have to have a president. So the Constitution gives the authority for them, and this is precedent, right? So it could go to the judiciary, which is somewhere that I don't want it to go either, because Donald Trump has appointed a ton of different judges to be able to lean the election his way if he wants to. So either it would go to the judiciary or it would go to the House of Representatives, depending on what their legislator wants to do.
But here's the thing: on my map that I have Biden winning Arizona, Nevada, and Florida and North Carolina, in addition to the Rust Belt, because I mean polls say that he's up in all those states by around. I mean some of them are within a polling error, but I would say the only one that isn't within a polling error is North Carolina. Florida, right. He's up around 2.1%. Arizona, he's up around 4.5. Nevada, he's up around 4. And he's also he's the same percent up in Florida as he is in Ohio. But let's just say that Florida goes Republican.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina goes Democrat. Let's say North Carolina also goes Democrat.
Right, so this is very reliant on Donald Trump still actually putting up a vibrant fight. So what I have is Joe Biden winning Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, losing in Florida, and losing in North Carolina, still taking Virginia, and holding Pennsylvania and Michigan. And then even still with Wisconsin, without Wisconsin or Minnesota, that still puts Joe Biden at 267 and Donald Trump at 251, which then goes down to the House of Representatives again.
Well,
Do you
okay,
have
yeah.
no? Do you have the? Do you wait? Do you have Maine's second district and Nevada's second district as blue?
I have Maine's. I don't have Maine's second district as blue.
Mine has West Coast minus Alaska as blue, New England blue, Virginia blue, Illinois blue, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada blue, and
This is giving
Nebraska's second district and
yeah,
Maine's second district. Yeah.
Yeah, Maine's
And
second district and Nebraska's second district are both blue. The whole West Coast is blue. Nevada's going to Joe Biden. Colorado, like I said, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York, all of the Northeast except for the first district of Maine. Going to Trump.
The first district of Maine has Biden up 4%.
It does?
District has, yeah.
But I mean, even if he takes that, even if we give him that electoral vote, that puts him at 269. That's still not a majority.
Here, let me show you what I have. I have him without with nobody winning Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
With those two states being eliminated, Biden has 271 electoral votes.
You have him at 271. See,
Yeah.
I think I do feel comfortable that Biden can take a majority. I mean, with 45 days going up to election, there has been a lot of movement in the polls, some drastic increases by Donald Trump. I think that he can bring it up, and I think that Joe Biden should win. I mean, I definitely think overall we could give Minnesota to Joe Biden. I could say that comfortably.
Absolutely.
But then again, it's going to be contested. Yeah,
Minnesota is the only state that hasn't voted Republican. Has the longest record of not voting of voting Democrat.
But this is look, guys, listen.
Wait, let me finish. Wait, the quality of polls is determined by how they're done, and you know what live caller polls are? Like the difference between each kind of poll. Okay, well, a live caller poll is just a poll that really gives you you're able to account for much more like education, like how they're educated, what race they are, if they're religious or not, what area they live in. All of that is so much more highly accounted for than a mail survey / poll or a door knocking. I mean, maybe not a door knocking one, but door knocking ones can't be done right now, or an online one. So the live caller polls are the most accurate. And there were a couple of live caller polls done by the Siena College in Minnesota that had Biden up 11%, and he's not the lowest he was at in Minnesota the entire election season was up 5. I don't think that Minnesota is anywhere near contested this election.
I mean, guys, this is the whole point, though. Listen, this is the whole point, though. The whole point is he could still steal the election. Like Biden could get Minnesota.
Yeah, because you have to remember they do have a majority. They do have a majority Republican legislator who has the ability to put forward the electorates as they see fit, and then the attorney general can challenge it. But that would just add to the confusion in Washington, and if that adds to the confusion in Washington, it makes the case for them to say these electorates cannot be counted because they just don't make sense.
When you say majority in the legislature, are you talking about the Senate?
No, yeah. So no, in the House of Representatives of 8 of the 9 swing states that are up for grabs in this election, they are Republican leaning. So this is a scary thought, and I would question if the Republicans are willing to do it. But I mean, they've shown that they're willing to completely throw party values out the window for Donald Trump, and this is not like they have a precedent of doing that. And so I have no doubt they would be willing to. Because technically, this isn't them violating the Constitution. It's a completely constitutional way that they could steal the election, which I think is all the more scary.
This is my exact reason.
Send the map that you have. Send the map you have into the Discord chat.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I just have it. I have it pulled up on my laptop. Hold on.
Oh yeah, so this is just like the basic website, but we'll take a look at it later. But yeah, this is the most important thing. This is what I keep talking about, and I don't want to get into the more broad conversation, but this is what I talk about when I say the government system in general is unjust. So, wow, man.
Well, I want to know, you knowing all you know about constitutional law, what do you think could be done to turn it the reason that all of these issues exist is because the way that this government was set up is more of a constitutional republic where there are caveats in the democratic system than a normal democratic country. What would you say are constitutional ways to sort of remove these caveats and make it a fully democratic system?
Well, you have the constitutional process of eliminating parts of the Constitution if necessary, right? It requires a 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate, and then you have to have 2/3 of the states vote to undo it. I mean, I would agree with getting rid of the electoral college at this point, though that would hurt the party that I identify with. I think that that would definitely be one of the processes that you could go down. I don't really see with this system us being able to unlock a way of us not being able to weaponize it, right? I mean, Republicans don't have the majority in the country; they haven't for a long time. I think it's now 79% of Americans are identifying as Democrats. The only way they're holding on to power is because the electoral college is able to ignore people's votes.
Yeah, exactly. I think.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think abolishing the electoral college would be a great first step, but it's such a big step, and I think it's gonna have to wait, at least if we do want to look at the future of this country as being in the hands of the youth. It's gonna have to wait until we have the people who are young now in power, because a lot of the people that are focused on this kind of stuff, a lot of you, I guess, for lack of a better word, fucking old ass people in office right now, like they definitely for sure don't want to abolish it, especially some of the really old Republicans.
Right, and I think that's something that is very true. I think that when we overall look at it, they're really just struggling onto power. And I mean, you can look at it when it comes to like Supreme Court nominations, and that's really how Republicans are borderlining on having to hold control of the United States government by just taking the judiciary, and that's what Mitch McConnell's trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hypothetical, man.
So wait, I have a question about filibusters, which you've told me they're not going to get removed because they would just filibuster and block
the rule to remove the filibuster.
Isn't the way that filibusters work, once the person is no longer standing at the isn't it like you break a filibuster by getting a majority of votes, but can't the filibuster also stop once the person gets off the
Well, they can have multiple different people. They can have multiple different people go up and talk. So they can have 12 senators willing to filibuster bills and go up and filibuster with those 12 people. One of them talks for a whole day, and then another one can talk for the longest filibuster I think that's ever been recorded, I believe. And I'll do like a little quick search. I think it's 23 hours and something.
Dude, I don't even understand like how the fuck that's part of our system, dude. That if you just don't stop talking, they can't do anything.
Well, that's the thing, is that I think that our founding fathers who came up with these ideas were sort of a little bit simple-minded as to how it would work in practice.
Yeah.
Farther down the line.
Yeah.
Like, guys, if the same thing happened with the elector system and faithless electors. Mm-hmm. I'll touch on that in a second. But it's like, guys, what if it's a terrible idea and everyone just happens to be on board except for one really good guy who like comes up and starts talking and then changes everyone's heart? Like, that is not going to ever fucking happen, and it never has. Every single time that a filibuster has happened, it's been when the
it's only weaponized to just like delay shit.
Yeah, the Senate was only slightly divided, and so the minority party who didn't want it to get passed just went up and said,
right.
Don't
and it's
do
one
it.
of the last things that the minority party has. Like, they don't really have a lot of power in either house of the Congress. Yeah, and the longest filibuster, it was 75 days was the longest filibuster recorded, but the single person talking was 24 hours and 18 minutes.
Dear God.
It was a civil rights bill.
Well, what happened at the end of the 75-day filibuster?
It was held against the Civil Rights Act. I know that. It was the Democratic Party held up the Civil Rights Act, set a filibuster recording at 60 days. Then they held a vote on it, 71-29 it passed. I think they just gave up.
So why wouldn't that happen here then? Why couldn't that?
I mean, it definitely could. I just don't realistically see. I don't think the Democrats would want to do that, because they would see how the filibuster is one of the last things the minority has to hold on to, and so if they remove that, then the Democrats would be very holding on to that they never get in the minority again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if they can get rid of the filibuster, then they can quickly, if they can muscle through to get rid of the filibuster, they can get rid of the electoral college, and they can highly expand voting, and then they're nearly guaranteed permanent majority in the in the government. Like, because like you said, if like you say, and like I've seen online with polls and with studies, more people in this country, far more people in this country, are on the left than on the right, and they get rid of the filibuster. They get rid of the filibuster. And then they absolutely just sprint to the finish line, get rid of the electoral college, add seats to the Senate that are safe Democrat seats, and expand voting.
But I think that they're really, really worried to do that because I think that makes them look like they're just doing a massive power grab, which scares the American public, and the Republican Party could definitely weaponize.
I definitely believe that like a lot of very moderate Democrats who may have voted Republican in the past, who now identify as Democrats, especially just because Trump has been so radical and so against the like general Republican agenda in general. So I think a lot of the people that are Democrats or do hold more left views, especially just right now, if something so fucking quick happens, right? Fuck the filibuster, fuck the electoral college, and then immediately just expand voting. Yeah, like you said. That's a huge. Wait, just real quick. That's a huge power grab, and that does scare the shit out of people, man. Because the Republican Party can totally just be like, look at the Democratic Party, look at these vultures. They're trying to make a monarchy out of a government. They're gonna spin the whole wheel around.
But here's the thing: there are certain issues, there are certain topics that the way that it can be, it depends on the way that it's framed. The Democrats are not nearly as good as framing and taking control of the narrative as Republicans are. But if they can touch on a certain number of topics, with the Electoral College being one of them, they can command the narrative and not freak out the American people, because 68% of the population wants to abolish the Electoral College. 68% wants to abolish the Electoral College. Independents and Democrats, it's like 89% with both of those, and then Republicans, it's like 23%.
Well, again,
they know that it doesn't favor them. Independents are the crucial people. Democrats are Democrats. Independents are the crucial people. Independents support abolishing the Electoral College. I think 3-1.
Yeah, because they can actually gain they have a chance at something if we abolish the Electoral College. Any independent party.
What I'm saying is they're not. They have an excuse to abolish it outside of we just wanted power. They can say, well, the American people, as you can clearly see, they wanted the Electoral College gone.
Yeah.
As far as adding Puerto Rico and DC as states, referendums. If those referendums show that the people of those states want to be states, same thing. We're just doing what the people want us to do. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it for them. I don't see anything that is remotely unconscionable about that.
But again, the Republicans are going to try to frame that narrative, and again, like you'd have to take a supermajority in the Senate. And so if we click over just to Senate elections, because they're going to have to get a 2/3 majority in the Senate. I mean, I'm sure that they could probably unlock a 2/3 majority in the House, but I don't know why my Senate map isn't working. Okay, that's great. So yeah, so the Senate, you'd have to be able to take the majority of the Senate. I don't think that they're able to do that. I don't see that happening this election. I don't see that happening even after next midterm.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Let's talk about the Senate really quick. First of all, Mark Kelly, who is going to win the Arizona Senate election, without a doubt. He has never been below 8% lead in polling. Martha McSally literally went on C-SPAN and said, if to my supporters, if you can like skip a meal and then spend the money you would have spent on that meal to donate to my campaign, that would be great. She said that. So she's in a desperate place. I would be surprised if she won her race. She won't. So I would say Arizona is going to Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly can be sworn in November 20th. He doesn't have to wait until the end of the election, until the end of the.
So you're seeing Arizona flip all the way blue. You're saying Arizona keeps their single Democratic senator and then switches their second senator to Democrat.
Their current Kristen Sinema, which is their current Democratic senator, was elected in 2018, so she's not up for election this election. And then John McCain died, and that seat had a special election, or not a special election. It was just an appointment, yeah. And Martha McSally was appointed to it. So she was not elected to it. She's not loved. She was appointed to her seat, and and in addition to that, Mark Kelly, who's running against her and winning, was a fucking astronaut. He has a lot of name recognition. He's kind of a celebrity. He's kind of a state celebrity. So he's going to win. He's got very high polling numbers. He's got high support in Arizona. I have family in Arizona that are Republicans who are voting for him. Mm-hmm. I would be surprised I would be dumbfounded if that didn't flip. As far as closer races, I would be surprised if Maine didn't flip, because Maine is a close race, and it's been Susan Collins has been the Republican there for a long time. She's a moderate.
People didn't like her because of the Kavanaugh. I remember that, yeah.
They didn't like her because of that, and also Maine has ranked choice voting. And there's a lot of very strong independent candidates this year that are all saying, guys, vote for us, but then your second choice on the ranked choice voting list, please make it Sarah Gideon, who's the Democratic challenger. So with ranked choice voting polling head to head, Sarah Gideon's leading by 7 to 8% on average as well. I would be surprised if that didn't flip. Let's go to closer races like North Carolina, Iowa, and Montana. Also Colorado. I forgot to say Colorado will. Cory Gardner gave up on his seat. He announced before he was losing his race before the Amy Coney Barrett thing, and then he announced that he would be voting for he would be supporting the appointee. After RGB died, he said, "This is tragic. I will be supporting whoever Donald Trump appoints." And his numbers went, I think, down another 2%. Polling shows as well that the majority of independents and Democrats don't think that Trump should appoint the next nominee, and that the person who wins the election and gets inaugurated should appoint the next nominee. So
I have to be honest. I think that's quite ridiculous. I think that the president doesn't stop being president in his last term. Right? I was one of the Republicans who was not on board with the shutdown of Obama in the last year. Right? Like I didn't like.
That's the thing, though. No, the people who set it's not like I agree with what they're like. I think that Amy Coney Barrett, in any other universe, she should be appointed. I'm not like she's not a problematic. I mean, maybe she's a little problematic with her sort of orthodox beliefs.
Yeah.
But as far as a human being goes, she's not as controversial as Kavanaugh. In a normal situation, I'd be like, why? What's the issue with appointing her? It's their fair turn to do that. But they set a precedent, and the precedent was not, hey, we control the Senate, so we get to say no. The precedent was this sort of moral thing where it's like, you can't do that because you're not going to be president, man. That's like not how it works. That was what they said. If they had said, sorry, we don't want to do it because we control the Senate, we would rather have somebody else appoint it than you, then that would be different. But that's not what they said. They explicitly were making it clear that they were doing it as a sort of concept of like, well, when it's an election year, you can't do that. That was the precedent they set. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, they all said this multiple times on record and said, and Lindsey Graham even said, you can use my word against me. I don't think that many people are on the same page as you where it's like, well, what's wrong with it? Because what's wrong with it is what they did before, not the concept of them doing it at all. I'm gonna go back to the Senate map. North Carolina, Tom Tillis is fighting against Cal Cunningham. Tom Tillis is the incumbent, of course, Republican. He's down. I actually have not seen a general consensus, but I saw polls going from 6 to 11% with Cal Cunningham up. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that Cal Cunningham wins. That puts the Democrats with 50 seats, plus perhaps the vice presidency.
Wait, what all? Wait, hold on. Wait, what all are you? What all states did you get? Because I flipped Colorado, flipped Arizona, flipped Maine, because they have an independent as their second representative, and I flipped Maine. I got 49-49 with 2 independents.
North Carolina.
Yeah, I have North Carolina flipped for their single seat. I have it flipped down to their second seat still red.
I put Iowa and Montana as toss-ups. And then put South Carolina and Kansas as like tilts Republican.
I see. Well, I have like an actual Senate map because that's why I like this one a bit better than 270. This is my actual Senate map. I have it pulled up, so it just splits it down into my camera's on, and so it just flips it down to 49 here, and I can flip individual seats. Like North Carolina still has 1 red seat and then a blue, and I have 49. I mean, that gives them the majority, right? Like even if we say that Montana holds Republican, Iowa holds Republican, if they win the presidency, they have the majority.
What do you think about the South Carolina Democrat challenger, Jamie Harrison?
I think he's a strong competitor, but I don't think that he wins. I think that there's so much money in South Carolina for the Republican Party.
Have you not seen what Lindsey said on Fox News, which was that he was being outfunded 3-1 by Jamie Harrison?
No, I didn't see that, actually.
There was a video, and people were making fun of him. There was a video because he was doing an interview on Fox News, and at the end of the interview, he was like, Help me, please. I'm being outfunded. I'm being crushed financially. I'm being outspent 3-1 by my Democratic candidate. Outfunded 2-1 by my Democratic challenger. He did that 3 times. There were 3 instances of him going on Fox fucking News, and begging for money. So as far as money goes, I mean, maybe there has been money in South Carolina. What I would be worried about is not how much money there is, because there's more money for
Well,
Jimmy Harrison.
again, I mean, I think
Wait.
I think
You have
in
to think
South
about
Carolina.
voting history. But there are a lot of black people in South Carolina. It's one of the most African American states, and African Americans have typically a very, very low turnout in the South. If he can get them energized to have a high turnout, plus the expanded availability of voting this election season, I would be surprised if it wasn't very, very close. I don't know.
I think it will be close. I don't think Lindsey Graham gets split. I don't think.
Levi, stop fucking eating. We did this last time. Stop eating during the fucking podcast.
It's just
Put the
gummy.
fucking bag down.
It's just gummy. Stop it.
I don't give a fuck what it could be. It could be shit. It could be a bag of dog shit. I don't care. It's plastic. It goes.
No, it won't go.
Sorry.
It won't go. Crack.
I'm sorry about that. Continue, please.
I think it's close. I just don't see. I don't see it flipping. I think that, of course, the Republicans are going to try to play the card of, hey, I need money. Please donate money. They want money in South Carolina. They want money to be able to finance all their campaigns overall. And so, I mean, I don't see Lindsey Graham's seat flipping. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that it's going to flip. But just with the Senate map I'm looking at, I mean, this is 49-49 with 2 independents. That gives Democrats the majority because the independents both caucus with Democrats. So
Yeah, and then I would keep your eye on Iowa, keep your eye on Montana, keep your eye on Kansas, keep your eye on South Carolina, and I'm curious about Texas, because nobody is really paying attention to Texas. But it's John Cornyn versus this woman named MJ Hagar. In 2018, Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz. I mean, John Cornyn's not hugely popular in Texas. He's just a Republican who's been there for a while. Ted Cruz is very popular in Texas, and Beto O'Rourke, who is also very popular, got within 2% of him, which was the closest that any election had been in Texas in 40 years. And that trend's going to continue. I like, people are talking about, like, the best data analysis groups are talking about Texas flipping to vote for Biden this year as a serious possibility, as like a 25% chance. So with that being said, what do you think about MJ Hagar taking that seat in the Senate? I don't think it's going to happen, but because she's not very well funded. But if you've seen the polls, which have them close, if you've seen the trends as far as the voting goes in Texas, and if you've seen John Cornyn's approval rating,
I think we have to remember is the Republican silent majority, and I don't think that we like to talk about it a lot because it's not as big as people make it out to be.
Dude, it does not exist.
No. Okay, people like to make it. It's a lot smaller than people make it out to be, but there is a silent majority. I mean, it's undeniable. I mean, 2016 it came out. That's really what showed, right? Hillary Clinton also failed in a couple states, like in Wisconsin.
I'll tell you what happened. 2016. We should do an entire episode, podcast just about 2016 because there's a lot of misconceptions about 2016. There's a lot.
Like the polls were correct?
The polls were correct. Generally, the national polls were correct. They had her up 2 to 3%. She won by 2.3%. So it was between 2 and 3% that she actually won by. Specific polls in states did not weigh for how people were educated. In what the fuck is happening? I'm sorry. Something just started playing. So the polls, which is what people basically based their forecasts on, like the famous Washington Post forecast that had Trump at a 1.6% chance of winning, all of that was based off of polls, right? The polls, nearly all of them, did not adjust their results based on how many people they polled were college educated, how many people were not college educated, and that's a huge voting block because when you're not college educated, you're so much more likely to vote Republican. That's sort of a widely agreed on phenomenon in the electorate, in the American electorate. So in 2018, the same polling firms that totally fucked up swing states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania and Iowa, the states that the polling firms that fucked that up were super fucking accurate. were super accurate because they used the same polling strategies, except they also adjusted for education. Also, I think people don't realize is that the results in most of those states, with the exception of Wisconsin, the results in those states were within the polling error. And the polling error, I mean, it depends, but if you average out the polling numbers and the polling error of all those numbers, it was very possible for Trump to win by a percentage.
Okay, don't get too much into the 2016 election, though.
I'm almost done, dude. I'm almost done. You should not interrupt people. All those states were within 1%, and in Pennsylvania in particular, the Green Party, basically, that was the margin, was how many people voted for the Green Party. So very, very small margins that are almost negligible when you're polling. So I think that while we can trust polling partially, can't trust it fully, but polling has changed since then, and it isn't really the silent majority that came out. There was not a huge unexpected turnout for Trump supporters. It was an unexpected not turnout for the Democratic candidate.
Right, I think that's fair. I haven't looked too much into the 2016 election. I have to do a little bit more research into it. I think that, but again, like, what we have to remember is we still have the Electoral College, and we still have these constitutional loopholes that I think need to get dealt with, and they're the ones that I specified. Whereas they can challenge the results of the election in a couple of the swing states. And I mean, an Electoral College tie was possible already, even without it. But even if we get Pennsylvania, like I said, I mean, or the numbers that I'm looking at, we take away Michigan, we take away Wisconsin, Biden doesn't take the win, and we're looking at the House of Representatives electing the President of the United States for the first time, and that's going to be Donald Trump, because 26 of those states, because you have to remember how the House of Representatives votes is a single vote per state, and 26 of those states are Republican leaning.
Isn't so the House of Representatives appoints the electors, or are they the electors? Because they become the electors. So in the event that nobody gets the majority necessary to become the President of the United States, which is 270, then the House of Representatives, it goes to them, and they call a session wherein all of the states caucus amongst themselves. So California would have just as much say as Wyoming. Wyoming would have just as much say as New York. Montana would have just as much say as Pennsylvania. Florida would be as irrelevant as Hawaii is. And so all of these states would then come together, and the Republicans would be able to take the win, as they have 26 states are right-leaning. And I mean, with the impeachment, we saw that they were willing to throw their values out the window. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, man. This is a sort of a contentious fucking issue.
I'm so glad to have you on to our live coverage of the presidential debates on Tuesday, which will be at 6 p.m. Yeah, tomorrow. Which will be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's really important. It'll be fun, 90 minutes. We'll hang out and go through and make fun of the two senile old white men. So thank you for listening in. Hope you enjoyed, and have a good night.
Thank you for listening to Politicare. We're glad you made it this far. We will be covering the presidential debates live tomorrow on Tuesday the 29th at about 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time, as mentioned earlier. And we hope to update you guys soon with more podcasts, and especially live debates, the most exciting part. Remember to follow us on TikTok at Politicare, and on Instagram also at Politicare, and on YouTube also at Politicare. Have a good night.